Hey, this is MassX with a brand new Chaos Zero Nightmare video. The CBT has closed. If you're not aware of this game or sleeping under a rock, then this is a game coming from Smilegate. And this game was actually created by the same person behind Epic 7. So it does have tinges of that feel at times, but this game has done so much to differentiate itself and is, in my opinion, at a class all on its own when it comes to a turn-based RPG, card battler, and you name it, it has a little bit of everything in it. This game does so much, so well. It is crazy, at least in my opinion. I'm a big fan of turn-based. If you're not, then it may not be right for you, but I would still encourage you to give it a try when it comes out. It looks like it will be October. Waiting for a hard date at this point, but it looked pretty damn polished at this point. But why is this game so good, at least in my opinion? It is very good at storytelling. First off, the story is very good. If you're a major skipper of stories, where you can in this game, I think you're missing out, especially at certain times. The story is very rich, very fluid, and goes very well with how this game is presented, the style of gameplay it has. I would highly recommend paying attention to the story and taking that time. And if it's not, your thing after you give it a try, then you can always skip if you still like the gameplay and other aspects of the game. The other thing it does well is when it comes to the characters, it has a way of making them feel like they're all your own. And so, you're going to have to pull on banners. Same thing with this game to get a character. But the characters are adjusted by two major factors. One is, of course, the card decks that they have. And that is going to be different for everybody because you get certain cards as you play through the areas of the game. You can save your deck. One time you may play through, you have a stellar, godly deck, and the next time it just may be very mediocre. So it gives this kind of, I don't want to call it luck, but your feel when you're playing each time can be changed. And the fact that you can save these decks, though, helps you out, of course, because you can load up the ones you like. Hopefully you're able to improve on those ones, but nobody's can be exactly the same. So it does feel like your character is becoming a little bit unique from your gameplay and time spent in the game. On top of that, it doesn't really have a true weapon-based system. What it does have, though, is a means where you still get the pluses for having, weapon types. But what they do instead is they implement it in a kind of way through the system for partners. And there's lots of different choices for partners. And based on your choice, and I know a lot of people are going to just follow the vanilla, people that say this one's the best or this one's the best, but it really does give you a lot of options and a lot of things to try. And in certain aspects of the game, some partners are going to work better with some characters than others. So it does, you have to feel like you're really able to kind of create your character. On top of that, it does have a lot of different aspects to it. You're going to have your two really main aspects of gameplay, and one's going to be your main story area, and then you're going to have an offshoot to that too, where you're going to be able to play through. A lot of areas require you to use certain characters for the story area, as well as you won't be able to auto it, so you have to play through it yourself, which I really do respect, because they want the engagement from the player, which I really liked, especially at times. In addition to that, your characters become very effective by the time they are on the field. So that becomes very obvious over time, and you have to treat your characters, and there's even a whole area where you have to go in to do that. If you, of course, have your resource areas like usual that you would expect in a game, so that's, you know, going to be there. So you are going to have some grind there. And this is, you know, it's called tactical training. So you're going to have growth in combatant area and partner areas and potential and memory fragments, etc. So yeah, there will be that. I couldn't get it all open in time because it was a very short closed beta test, approximately 3 full days, maybe 4. But the chaos manifestation area is like your main playthrough area for your story. In addition to that, you know, when you get treatments, when you have to treat a character that has an issue, it's really interesting how it's handled because you have to choose the type of treatment to your character and it gives you choices. So again, hopefully you're seeing the theme here. There's a lot of interactivity with the player in the game, so it really tries to pull you in, and that really is what makes this feel different than so many games that have come out. So I really liked it a lot. I've always liked the way the aesthetic is. I'm a fan of turn-based, so they got me there. But the fact that they can come out with something that feels so original, where we live in an age of so many games and so many games that are just processed and so similar to others, that it is nice to see something refreshing like this to come out, that really you can tell they spent a lot of time and effort in really considering how they wanted the player to be able to really become part of the game itself, which was very, very exciting as a player. What you see there was your main screen, but that also goes into a secondary area, which is like the city portion. It's called Ark City. And you're going to have choices of a lot of stuff to do. This is going to have you basically build up your characters' affiliations. You're going to be able to raise their grades. You're going to be able to do treatments. If they're having a breakdown, you're going to be able to spend time with your characters. You're going to be able to pick and choose items in certain areas in the cafe or the garden cafe, I should say the coffee shop or the garden cafe. The psychotherapy was what I was talking about before. Trauma code never opened up for me, but the psychotherapy area is where you do the treatments to your characters after a battle when they have broken down. Of course, you're going to have your standardized shops. You've also got, of course, your Gacha area, which at the time of the CBT, they had 3 banners up, but really only one that, one that was a true featured banner, so to speak, where you can pull your characters. The rates were surprisingly not bad at all, but you found out very quickly that you're able to do a lot with all different types of characters when you played this game, which also made it very interesting to know that you're going to be able to use, and some characters may work in areas much better than others. So you're just not striving for that 1 5-star that you have to have, because there are going to be some multi-use, and some of these characters are going to be very effective and helpful in different aspects of the game, which became very evident very quickly, especially with how the character system is designed in this game. The one thing I did find interesting about the gacha was, from what I could read through it, for the partners, you're guaranteed at 70 summons to get a 5-star, but it's 50-50, where for the main character polling, it appeared not to be 50-50. I don't know if that was typographical and they meant it to be 50-50. I guess we'll find out at launch. I hope not, because that would be great if we only have to deal with one type of polling that's 50-50. And in your combatant area, that's what they named the characters. It gives you the breakdown of what the characters have from their stats. They do take dupes as you can see on the screen, and those will go, so you only need up to 6, so 7 total copies of the character from what I can see so far. Of course, I never got anybody to 5 or 6, assuming that is just 1 each time. You of course have your partner area, which I talked about before, your save data, which is your card decks, which is really great that you can do multiples in those. But all in all, it's very, very impressive, the entire game itself. I am very looking forward to this coming out. I really cannot wait to see what they provide as the final product. I have to believe they're incredibly close. They just kept a few things hidden clearly because certain areas were not available and never unlocked. So I have a feeling they're trying to keep a few things under wraps until release to keep it a complete surprise. But I mean, just from, if you've been watching the background as I speak, you can tell graphically how well the game is. Gameplay is fluid and beautiful. And all in all, this could be the best turn-based gacha game that is released this year, at least in my opinion. The one downside I will say to some people, of course, will be there was no arena play in the game. That is not something I live or die for. I know some people do, so that may be a turn-off to some because of that. But I really think they wanted to build a game that was really about becoming involved and part of the game and feel truly interactive versus just striving for, you know, the meta team for arena, where this one is all about progress, pushing through, customizing your characters, what works best in your opinion, in your eyes, to get through areas. And I think what they did with that was absolutely amazing. So in the end, this is a game I highly recommend you go out and try when it comes out. It is without a doubt my favorite to play this year so far. With that, as always, please like and subscribe. It helps a lot. Have a great day.